Shalom, 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 lakam, peace unto you all. Anak MawaAhba, inshallah. Hey, we the Hebrew Israelites coming to you week in and week out through the spirit and power of Yahweh Basham, Yahweh Shah to preach to you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indians, Haitians, Israelite foreigners. Chamatam, Kaya, Hamalakwa, Hashemayim, Kwara, repent ye for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. First and foremost, before we get started, I'm going to say, Call Halayim La, Yahweh Basham, Yahweh Shah, Basham, Cha, Kodashe, double honors to the elders and apostles of great millstone that taught us the truth and rule well. Much respect to you bros out there pushing this truth with all righteousness and sincerity. Shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
All right, so ImWan, we're going into which ImWan is today. We're going into MawaAhba wa ImWan, which is Moab and Ammon. All right, because well, we got it right here. This is Genesis Barashah chapter 19 and verse 30. It says, "And Lot went up out of Zoar and dwelt in the mountain, and his two daughters with him. For he feared to dwell in Zoar, and he dwelt in a cave, he and his two daughters. And the firstborn said unto the younger, Our father is old, and there is not a man in the earth to come in unto us after the manner of all the earth. It says, Come, let us make our father drink wine, and we will lie with him, that we may preserve seed of our father." So Lot was a righteous man. Lot's a righteous man. He's an Israelite, present day. But what's the word, progeny, or pretty much his seed, they're heathen, But Baba Kushak, could we get that word for Moab? Actually, what could you read down?
Khan. This is Genesis 19 and 32. Salakia. Did we read 32?
Yeah, we're at
Yeah,
32.
we did. Salakia. 33, it says, And they made the father drink wine that night, and the firstborn went in and lay with her father, and he perceived not when she lay down, nor when she arose. And it came to pass on the morrow that the firstborn said to the younger, Behold, I lay yesternight with my father. Let us make him drink wine this night also, and go thou in, and lie with him, that we may perceive seed of our father, or preserve seed of our father. And they made the father drink wine that night also, and the younger arose and lay with him, and he perceived not when she lay down, nor when she arose.
So pretty much he was unaware. He was in
Mhm.
a deep sleep, so to speak.
Right. And they made him
Like,
drink wine too, so he
yeah,
didn't remember what happened.
and he was old. He was older, and essentially, like you said, he had drunk wine, and then he was pretty much in a day's sleep type of state.
Right.
So according to the law, that would be off, but this happened according to prophecy. So Baba Kushak, can you scroll back up
Come.
to verse 32? This was done. Verse 32, it says, "Come, let us make our father drink wine, and we will lie with him, that we may preserve seed of our father." So essentially that happened because Ammon and Moab had to come into fruition as far as the prophecies. But nevertheless, Lot is a righteous man, again, to reiterate, in this present time.
Mhm. Con. And like we were talking about earlier, Lot, and through the reincarnation, he would actually be an Israelite, seeing that he was a righteous man.
Right.
But
It says,
continuing on,
yeah, you got it.
Salakia. This is Genesis 19 and 36. It says, Thus were both the daughters of Lot with child by their father. And the firstborn bare a son and called his name Moab.
Mm-hmm.
When we go into that name,
Now we go ahead and finish it out. We'll touch on both of them.
Con. It says, The same is the father of the Moabites unto this day.
Mm-hmm.
And the younger, she also bare a son, and called his name Ben-Ami. The same is the father of the children of Ammon unto this day.
Right, which that's Bon Yah. So we can go ahead and
Mhm.
get that word from Moab. You click into it. Yeah, click into
Con.
it.
We're here from Moab.
Yeah.
It's uh MawaAhba,
Mm-hmm. And
where there is Moab of his father.
yep, of his father. Could you also get the Jensenius?
Con.
It says water, i.e., which when you go into the definition of i.e., that means that is. So water that is seed, progeny of a father. So his name ultimately it goes into of his father, and then also water, seed, progeny of a father, and then it can go into that when you go into his name. Could we go to the docs, Google Docs? When
Con.
we go into his name, MawaAhba read from right to left, Bahalashwan Kodash, that Ma, that word for Ma is Mayam, which means water, and then you got Wa, which is a nail. So when you add Wa to a sentence, it can mean and. So essentially, you just in addition or you fastening something. So water
Mm-hmm.
fastened, it's water fastening a seed of a father. Because going back to Genesis 19:32, it said that we may preserve the seed of our father. So if that seed is water, essentially that lineage will be able to continue on. That's why pretty much it said water the seed of a father, because it continued that lineage.
Mm-hmm.
But then also, if we go into his name, Mawa, that means of his, and then also that Mayam. Could we get Psalms Tahoyim 60 and verse 8?
Con. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 60 and verse 8, and it reads, Moab is my washpot. Over Edom will I cast out my shoes. Philistia, triumph thou because of me.
Right. And could you click on that word for washpot?
Con. Sayar.
Yep. And it says a pot. It says briars. It says household utensil. Please keep scrolling,
Mm-hmm.
Baba Kasha.
Con.
It says a pot also is a thorn that's springing up rapidly, a cauldron. So pretty much like in the ancient world, to wash clothes, you may wash your clothes inside a big pot. That's what a cauldron is.
Mm-hmm.
They had like the washboards.
Mm-hmm.
Scroll down a little bit to the Gensinius.
Con.
It says pot from the boiling and bubbling. It says a basin of my washing. So essentially Moab, they're good at they pretty much do servant type work. And
Yep.
it's also in their name, like uh that Mawa part. The Lord said Moab is his wash pot. So that the word wash, Mayam, that's the water. You wash with water.
Mm-hmm.
So it will be wash his, because Moab is the Lord's wash pot, which essentially it goes into their name, and you could say ironically they also do they do a lot of laundry work. They be washing
Mm-hmm.
feet. They pretty
Mm-hmm.
much servants. That's where they thrive at, and that's why when you look in America, they got the laundry mats, the nail salons, and things in that particular category because they truthfully was made to be servants.
Mm-hmm. Con. Con. I also hear about, they be good at washing what's it called? Fish tanks.
Mm-hmm.
They be doing that kind of job too. Like you said, you mentioned clothing, right? And, dry cleaners. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's a common stereotype to hear about Moabite owning a dry cleaning chain.
Right. Could we get just to prove that? Could we get the article?
Con. There's an article right here from Gold Thread, and as you can see from the picture, you got Moab, getting their ass kicked by Esau.
Hmm.
But there's the wash pot right there,
Yep.
just showing you a can't go away from prophecy.
Mm-hmm.
But it says, uh, I'm just gonna read the point. I'm just gonna read the title and then get to the point.
Okay.
But it says, why the Chinese laundry stereotype persists. It says in this ad from the 1970s, detergent maker Calgon depicts its soap as the ancient Chinese secret behind Chinese laundromats or laundromats. It says the stereotype of Chinese laundry getting routinely uh, parodied in the media because so many Americans are familiar with the small Chinese-owned laundry. Now, I'm gonna skip down. Let's see. I'll start right here. It says, seeing the opportunity, the first Chinese-owned laundry in America, Wally opened in San Francisco in 1851, pricing its services at $5 per dozen shirts. Since many Americans of European descent did not want to be in business such as laundry, restaurants, and construction, the jobs ended up being filled by Chinese migrants.
Because
By
they, if I could add, they
Mhm.
pretty much do that certain servitude type of work, you know.
Mhm. Mhm. That's right. It says by 1870, laundries were almost exclusively Chinese owned. It's just showing you right there. But it says the lack of opportunities for Chinese migrants meant that many ended up staying in the laundry business. After all, it was easy to start your own business as laundries required no existing practical or language skill set, no startup capital apart from soap, an iron, and a scrub board, and rent was saved by living in store. So that's pretty much it. It tells you right there. There's a little bit of history on Moab and the fact that
Hmm.
the reason why they're known for being that wash pot, right? Cleaning, anything having to do with cleaning services, like the brother mentioned, manicures and pedicure services, right? That's
But
commonly known that Moab owns these type of things.
Con, could we get Second Samuel chapter 8 and verse 2?
Con. This is Second Samuel chapter 8 and verse 2, and it reads, "And he smote Moab and measured them in a line, casting them down to the ground. Even with 2 lines measured he to put to death, and with one full line to keep alive. And so the Moabites became David's servants and brought gifts."
Right, and that's a true lot, you know. When King David was on the earth, you know, these nations understand how they was in subjection, you know. That's why they ultimately come up against his word, you know, because Moab, all these heathen is pretty much servants, you know, and pretty much going into Moab's title or his name, you know, he was made to be a servant, you know.
Hmm.
He's everybody has their lot in this movie, and Moab is the Lord's watchpot, you know. They do that
Yo,
that type of servitude, you know.
and what's so heavy is that even Esau used Moab as his washpot,
Right,
and we're going to use him for the exact same reason.
right.
Just showing you the Most High has different. Well, these nations serve different purposes, and the Most High has them, you know, fulfilling those purposes. It's almost like an animal. The Most High has like the pigs, right, and these bottom feeders, right? They serve a purpose in the food chain in the ecosystem of the animals, right, of the earth. And hey, the same way with the heathen, they're gonna serve their purposes in the kingdom.
Con. Could we get Judges chapter 3 and verse 12?
Judges chapter 3 and verse 12, it reads, "And the children of Israel did evil again in the sight of Yahweh, and Yahweh strengthened Eglon, the king of Moab, against Israel, because they had done evil in the sight of Yahweh. And he gathered unto him the children of Ammon and Amalek, and went and smote Israel, and possessed the city of palm trees. So the children of Israel served Eglon, the king of Moab, 18 years." It
Right. So
says,
we was under we was under the servitude of Moab. You know,
hmm
Moab was made to be a servant. You know, but we essentially was under them. You know, because we went off. You know, we sinned against our power. You know, but I just want to pretty much want to bring this out because the scriptures say that each nation, you know, had a part in directly or indirectly, you know, having us in servitude. You know,
hmm
could we get that? Could we go to Obadiah chapter? We the only chapter
God, God,
and 15.
God. This is Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 15. It says, "For the day of Yahweh is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head."
So essentially, what they did to us, you know, we're gonna do to them in righteousness. You know, they did, Esau did all that nasty stuff, and
Hmm.
the different nations, whatever they did, but we can get our revenge, so to speak, um, when we put them in servitude, in the kingdom.
That's right. That's right. May I get one for you?
Con.
Let me get this real quick. Salakia. Pretty much trying to find that one. I think it was Zechariah, right? Zechariah 1 and 15. The
Can't
helpful of
believe
the
so.
affliction.
Yep.
Yep. It says, this is Zechariah 1 and verse 15. It says, I am very sore displeased with the heathen that are at ease, for I was but a little displeased, and they helped forward the affliction. They helped forward the affliction of who? The Israelites, right? The children of the Most High. They ended up taking it that step further, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because when you look at the history, right, what these heathen used to do to us, they would castrate the males. They would uh pretty much it was nothing but hardcore bondage for Jake, during that
Mm-hmm.
time period of uh 16 about 1600s, really the beginning of like the late 1400s, whenever Christopher Columbus came over here. That's whenever the conquering of Jake started happening. But these heathen did all kinds of shit to our people, man, and they're gonna pay
Right.
for that.
Right. Could we get land backing off you? Let's get Zephaniah Tazapanya chapter 2, verse 8 to 9.
Con. This is Zephaniah chapter 2 and verse 8. It says, I have heard the reproach of Moab and the revilings of the children of Ammon,
Mm-hmm.
whereby they have reproached my people and magnified themselves against their border.
Right. That's
Therefore,
talking
as I
about
live,
in the ancient world you see, but then also now, they're essentially
mm,
against the children of Yasha'Allah today, you know.
mhm. It says, Therefore, as I live, saith Yahweh of hosts, the power of Israel, surely Moab shall be as Sodom, and
Mm-hmm.
the children of Ammon as Gomorrah, even the breeding of nettles and salt pits, and a perpetual desolation. The residue of my people shall spoil them, and the remnant of my people shall possess them.
Right. And in the kingdom, we gonna have them in servitude. They
Mm,
gonna be, they gonna serve their slavery, and they can get their lands back, but everybody's gonna play out their lot that the Lord has written in this movie, in this story, you know.
right.
From
Con.
there, let's get, let me see. Could you get Jeremiah chapter 1 or chapter 48? We'll get verse 1, and then you can skip down to verse 14.
Con. This is Jeremiah chapter 48 and verse 1. It says, Against Moab, thus saith Yahweh of hosts, the power of Israel, woe unto Nebo, for it is spoiled. Uh, Kiriath, Kiriathaim is confounded and taken. Misgad is confounded and dismayed.
Right, because if you look at Esau, he confides in different idols, and things like that. But
Hmm.
Moab also has different idols that they confide in too. I believe. Can you go back up to where it said Nebo? I believe that's Nabwa. I believe that's talking about a planet or something like that.
You want me to click on it?
Hmm.
Con. The word for Nebo. Nabwa. It
It
says,
says a Babylonian deity who presided over learning and letters corresponds to Greek Hermes, Latin Mercury, and Egyptian Thoth.
mm,
Could you go to the Jensenius?
Con.
It says the planet Mercury, worshipped as a celestial scribe by the Chaldeans, the ancient Arabians. So pretty much, they into what they into as well. All these heathen are pretty much into that idolatry. You know,
Hmm.
and they confide in this stuff. Just like they back in I can't remember what captivity it was, but they got a stone called, I believe it's the Mesha Steel, or the Moabite inscription. They
Yeah, the Moabite
essentially,
song.
yeah, they essentially was writing super blasphemous stuff. I believe they was it was pretty much boasting about um their so-called deity.
Mm, Con. And this kind of reminds me of them to this day with their zodiac chart,
Mm-hmm.
zodiac calendar. You know how they be taking, they be using the astrology, lining up these different planets, stars, and whatever celestial bodies, and you know making their own thing and worshiping it.
Right. As a matter of fact, just to prove that point, could we go to you skip down to verse 13?
Con. You see Jeremiah 48 and verse 13. It says, "And Moab shall be ashamed of Chemosh, as the house of Israel was ashamed of Bethel, their confidence."
Mm-hmm. So pretty much like to reiterate, could you get that in the NLT?
Con. Jeremiah 48 and 13 in the NLT, and it reads, "At last Moab will be ashamed of his idol Chemosh,
Mm-hmm.
as the people of Israel were ashamed of their God, of their gold calf at Bethel."
All right. So just like two-thirds how they was going off, and how
Hmm.
the rest of the heathen they essentially confide in their different idols and stuff like that. Like in ancient Egypt, the Lord made a open mockery of the different so-called idols or so-called gods, that they had, But
Hmm.
essentially, it's going to happen to Moab, in this time as well, whatever they confide in, all that stuff is going to be exposed, and it's going to be found out that hey, it's not a true power.
That's right. Want me to continue on?
No, that was about it. Could we
Okay.
get we can go to Ammon,
Con. Ammon.
and it says ImWan. All right. Could we get it in the blue letter?
Oh yeah, con.
Genesis 19 and should be like 30 something.
Con. Genesis 19. Was that Alma one? No wait,
It would be ImWan.
I'm one. Con.
The root word Im, that means people.
Want me to
You
click on that?
no, you good. You can scroll
Okay.
down to the Jensenius. It says
Con.
tribal.
Oh, Salaki.
Yeah, it says tribal, and it says a son of Lot. It says inbred, also the posterity in their country. So yeah, you go to the Jensenius Biblical Shop,
Con.
and it says, as is stated, that is son of my relative or kindred, i.e., born from incest, and that's essentially so like what his name goes into. He was a child born of incest, and then it says, you can scroll a little bit. Go back up. Yeah, I don't see it. Oh, right there. It says born from incest from the now I'm, which I means people. It says which C number one with the addition of the syllable wan. So when you go into his name, it's like Quadam wan. Quadam means east or ancient. And it says Ra'ash wan. So essentially, how that will be configured is I'm wan because it's going into people born of incest. So could we go to the Google Docs?
Con.
And it says ayan mayam, which that's the first two words of those letters. It says sea water, which when you go into the scriptures, waters can be likened to people, or the seas can be likened to people. So this goes
Mm.
into people. That why is a nail, it's established. And you got the na, which that goes into a seed. So people established for continuance. Because if we go back to Genesis chapter 19 and verse 32, could we go there real fast?
Con. This is Genesis chapter 19 and verse 32. It says, "Come, let's get him drunk with wine, and then let me get this in the King James Salaki. Genesis 19 and verse 32. In King James it says, "Come, let us make our father drink wine, and we will lie with him,
Mm-hmm.
that we may preserve seed of our father."
That we may preserve seed of our father. So if we go back to that the Google Docs with that understanding, it says people established for continuance. So the only reason that it essentially was made as a line, because the two daughters was trying to preserve the seed of Lot. So both or Ammon was made for that purpose, and then Moab, they pretty much was pushed forth for that purpose as well. But essentially this
Right.
that goes into Ammon's name. People established for continuance, so they can
Mm.
continue that particular line.
Con.
So could we get? Let's go to the article, just proving that, because how they was essentially born. It goes into people born of incest, and they was made, almost as survival, so to speak, to survive that lineage or to continue that particular seed. But it says mother son incest prevalence in Japan, which Japan goes into Ammon, ImWan, and then China is MawaAhba, Moab.
Mm-hmm.
So it says this document discusses mother-son incest in Japan. It claims the studies show around 80% of Japanese men report having some form of some form of sexual contact with their mothers at an early age. So that's in there. That's in them. It's inbred. That's in their their makeup.
Mm-hmm.
Could you scroll down a little bit?
Con.
Should be somewhere. It says in the late 1980s and early 1990s, there was a media panic in Japan about the prevalence of mother son incest. For many years, there has been a huge market for magazines, manga, anime, and even DVDs depicting mothers having sex with their sons. Although the reality of relationships in the photos and DVDs could easily have been questioned, producers of these products have began to go to greater lengths to promote the reality of the incest. So essentially, yeah, it just goes into how they are as a people. That's essentially in their name, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So can we go from there to not Genesis chapter 19 verse 38.
Con. This is Genesis chapter 19 and verse 38, and it reads, "And the younger, she also bare a son, and called his name Ben Ami. The same is the father of the children of Ammon unto this day."
Right? Could we get the Ben Ami?
Con. Ben Ami.
Right then it says Bon Im Yah, and that goes into it says son of my people, because essentially it goes into how they was inbred, you know.
Mm-hmm. Con. And if I may add too, you can see it, through their eyes. They had that
Hmm.
they got that Down syndrome look. They
Hmm.
got that mongoloid look. They call that shit what's it called? Mongoloid disease.
Hmm.
That's what they used to call it back then, but now they call it Down syndrome.
Right.
Just showing you that's that look that they have. Let's see. Let me go to the Jacenius.
No, I ain't got nothing in there.
Oh, okay, con.
We can get Amos chapter 1 and verse 13.
This is
And
Amos of Slaki.
oh, you got it.
Amos chapter 1 and verse 16.
13.
Oh, 13 Slaki. It says, "Thus saith Yahweh, for 3 transgressions of the children of Ammon, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because they have ripped up the woman with child of Gilead, that they might enlarge their border."
Hey, so all the heathen have always been, in the same particular type of spirit,
Mm-hmm.
essentially trying to find different ways to destroy us as a people, chiefly starting with Esau, Edom. They essentially they pretty much it's in them to essentially come up against us, so all the heathen is going to pay for the things that they've done, mentioned in Psalms 83, 30, the 83rd chapter. Could we go ahead, go to it?
Con. Psalm chapter 83. I'm gonna start at the top. Start at verse 1. It says, "Keep not thou silence, O power. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O power. For
Hmm.
lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones."
Right, the crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. So that crafty counsel comes in ways of hiding the language from us, hiding our power's name from us, allowing us not allowing to us to know that we are the children of Israel. You
Hmm.
know, the hidden ones being the children of Israel. You
Right,
know,
right. Another way is by keeping us in perpetual sin, right? Pushing wickedness upon our people. That's a key one that they like to do, right? Because they understand that if we continue in sin, that they can continue to rule over us,
right?
right? But continuing on, verse 4, it says, "They have said, 'Come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.'"
Hmm. That's essentially what they've done. You know, 2/3 they don't even consider the fact, or if it's brought to their attention, you know, some of them is like, yeah, no, that that can't be us. And when you go into that word remembrance, it means to call to mind, to even consider, to think about. You know, it's
Hmm.
to the point where Jake just surviving and scratching to survive, and they love it. You know,
Hmm. Hmm. Verse 5, it says, "For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee."
which that word confederate, con is with. You know, so essentially it goes into how they all together. That's why they go to these G7 summits. Those different top group meetings to
Hmm.
essentially figure out how they're going to keep us further enslaved. Or what they can do a better job at. Because you never see Israelites having a say so in those different meetings. You know.
Right, right. It's closed doors.
Mm-hmm.
You know, 'cause that's exactly the conversations they have is how to keep y'all under subjection, how to keep y'all under control.
Right.
But verse 6, it says, "The tabernacles of Edom," now is going into these nations, right? The tabernacles of Edom, first and foremost, it says, "And the Ishmaelites of Moab, and the Hagarenes, uh, Jebel, and Ammon, and Amalek, the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre."
Mm-hmm.
Oh, want me to continue on?
Yeah, the verse 8.
Khan. It says, Assur also is joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot. Selah.
Right. Can we get in the NLT?
Khan. Psalms 83. I'm going to start at verse 6 in the NLT. It says, "These Edomites and Ishmaelites, Moabites and Hagrites, Jebelites, Ammonites, and Amalekites, and people of Philistia and Tyre, Assyria has joined them too, and is allied with the descendants of Lot."
And so everybody pretty much, like I said, I think it was the fifth verse, but everybody essentially is confederate together, with each
Hmm.
other. They all on the same accord. If you look at the different slave trades, I believe, essentially all of them, they had who's going to pay for it. Amlek's going to pay for it. All right, you're going to make the boats. All right, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. They pretty much had it, all, figured out. And that's why it says in Obadiah, the book of Obadiah,
Hmm.
all the heathen drunk from the Lord's people.
Hmm.
Essentially showing that they destroyed us, but then also they benefited off of us.
Hmm. And that's why you have things called the trans-Saharan slave trade,
Mm-hmm.
transatlantic slave trade, and when you look back in, dig deeper into these, into who was involved, who were the what they call corporates
Mm-hmm.
behind all this. It's all these nations right here. Esau, Ishmael was in there, Moab, right? Ammon, Ham. All these nations were involved in our captivity or in our demise.
Right. Could we get one more? Could we get Proverbs 11:21?
Con. This is Proverbs 11 and verse 21, and it reads, "Evil people will surely be punished, but the children of the godly will go free."
Could you get the
Oh,
okay,
Salakia, King James. Proverbs 11 and verse 21, it says, "Though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not go unpunished, but the seed of the righteous shall be delivered."
right? The elect is going to be delivered. 2/3, they'll get their rest in the kingdom. But the elect is going to be delivered, and though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not go unpunished. Hey, so Esau Edom is being exposed. He's gonna be going to his captivity. His lands and stuff. That America, Babylon the Great will be destroyed. In various different parts of the earth. But as he's being destroyed, these other nations are going to go down as well because they're essentially in league with them.
Right. And I got one quick one for you.
Okay.
This is Nahum chapter 1 and verse 3. It says, Yahweh is slow to anger and great in power, and will not at all acquit the wicked.
Mm-hmm.
Yahweh hath his way in the whirlwind and in the storm, and the clouds are the dust of his feet. Right. So pretty much this can be applied to, all these nations, right? They're not going to be acquitted. When you go into this word acquit real quick, it pretty much goes into to make clean, right? To make the slate clean, in a sense. It says to be empty, be clear, be pure, be free, be
Mm-hmm.
innocent, right? Be desolate, be cut off. To be empty, be clean, be pure. So ultimately, hey, you're not going to be found innocent in that time. You're not going to be acquitted. Esau has that word acquitted, uh, uh, not acquitted, expunged, Salakia.
Mm-hmm.
Word expunged. Your crimes are not going to be expunged, man. You're going to pay. Oh, and that's to all nations. All nations. They're going to pay dearly for everything that they've done.
Okay. You got anything else?
Nah, that was it.
Okay.
I still have that article. I don't know if you want to pull it up.
Well,
Storing vegetables and flower seeds.
oh no, no, because essentially it went into we can pull it up
Con.
and then scroll down. Should be like something highlighted. It says conditions essential to good seed storage are just opposite of those required for good germination. It says good germination occurs when water and oxygen are present at a favorable temperature. Good seed storage results when seeds are kept dry below 8% moisture and the temperature is kept kept low below 40 degrees. But the point I wanted to get was, you know, when something is germinated, it's
Mhm.
germinated by water, and it pretty much went into, Moab's name, and then also some of Ammon's name, because they essentially was that seed that was pretty much made to continue, you know.
Mhm.
So due to prophecy, they was able to become a lineage.
That's right. Con.
That was pretty much it, though. If you had nothing else.
Con. No, that's it.
Well, hey, I don't want to Zaza Banaya Palos, where there was a beautiful edification through the spirit. Wow, I don't want to Zadam Yashawam Tawabe, Lord's will you all have a good day. And go ahead and close it up by saying, Call Halayim La, Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shah Bahasham, Chak, Odashe, double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that taught us the truth and rule well. And much respect to you, bros, out there pushing this truth with all righteousness and sincerity. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, lakam. Peace to you all. Shalom.
Shalom.